Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever amateur roundup on my channel. I hope you enjoy the following video. This week, coming up, we have Mindfreak winning the CWL Anaheim Open Championship, new AM players joining the Pro League, rostermania hitting the amateur scene, and the Esports Universe Summer Cup preview. First up, and headlining this week's amateur news is of course Mindfreak becoming your CWL Anaheim Open 2019 champions. The biggest number of teams in MLG history entered the open bracket at Anaheim, but only one came out on top, and of course it was the Australian side in Mindfreak. They pulled off a feat much like they did in London, winning 2 best-of-5 against this time an American side in Mesa Gaming to become your Anaheim Open champions. Questions will now be asked about whether or not Mindfreak can be the first amateur team to potentially break the top 16 teams when it comes to that all-important CWL champs in August, but first they will have to get past the hurdle of qualifying in CWL Miami when it comes to July 19th to 21st. Next up is some good news for the amateur scene both in North America and Europe, as amateur players from across the globe are finding their way into the Pro League as both starters and substitute. First up, we have Heretics, who after recently dropping Sucri have brought in the first ever Italian pro player to the league in the form of Vortex, most commonly known for his spell on Idomina Esports. Next up, of course, we have possibly the biggest change in the form of Weeman, Cami and Nolson, who technically the latter of which was already in the Pro League under Splice, joining the roster of units alongside Rated and Joe. This is a really exciting roster, of course, as Weeman, who's been trying to earn his place in the Pro League after failing to do so at the PLQs with Team Sween, and Cami, who has never made his way into the Pro League before but is an extremely talented amateur player, finally find their way onto a pro roster. Next up, of course, is Team Envy. They make a new change with Assault rejoining the team. Of course, the pro changes really don't matter here in the amateur news, but Assault, albeit a bit of a dubious change, rejoins the Pro League via Team Envy. And finally, we have 2 really interesting changes both on Midnight and Elevate respectively. Midnight, of course, bringing in a new substitute in the form of Exceed, who placed very well in the Anaheim Open bracket alongside the Comeback. And secondly, we have Elevate bringing in Pentagram, who was part of that Mesa Gaming roster that placed second in the Anaheim Open bracket. And of course, this has had some serious repercussions on the amateur scene. Movie Star Riders, of course, have lost their star in Vortex. War Esports lose Weeman and Cami. And finally, we see Comeback losing Exceed. But that's not the only changes that have gone down since CWL Anaheim. For Sage, we've seen Glowfrosty announce his free agency. For Fierce Esports, we've seen Shorty announce his free agency, citing reasons of role changes that don't really suit his playstyle. And of course, on the bigger, grander scale, we have the ex-Legion roster of Louis, CM, Jambo and Control, who were LF2 ahead of CWL Miami, feel that it's better for them to go free agents and look for different teams. And of course, Fuego Gaming, the biggest surprise I feel coming out of CWL Anaheim, performing with a top 6 finish, ending up splitting and all of them going their separate ways ahead, of course, that all-important CWL Miami event. And finally, this week, we're going to finish with a little preview of the Esports Universe Summer Cup, set to start this coming Monday. We have an open bracket qualifier on Saturday to decide the last 2 teams that will be joining the 8 already invited, and the list is as follows. Joining heavy hitters Radiant Esports and Team Singularity will have a number of challenges, including Legion Gaming, Void Gaming, the Atlas Lions, Peak Home, Socially Esports and Buzzkill. It'll be an amazing event with a £250 prize ball, and if you guys remember just how awesome the Summer Cup was last year, well, it was a really fun time. Of course, the event will run from the 24th of June to the 7th of July. Playoffs, I believe, will be on the 6th of July, so don't miss it, guys. All the action starts on Monday, and I will have a video with a special preview with an in-depth look at every team being invited to the Summer Cup coming out very soon. It's going to be it from me here in the Amateur Roundup. This is the first episode of the show, so we're in early doors here for myself, my first ever YouTube video on the channel. If you do want to provide feedback, I'd really greatly appreciate it. You can contact me on Twitter. That's twitter.com/InfinityBL, or you can put down in the comment section below what you liked and didn't like of the video. But to show support, please like, comment and subscribe. We'll be providing you with a lot of content on this channel in the coming weeks. Hopefully we can cover everything amateur esports in the Call of Duty scene. But from me here on my YouTube channel, that's going to be it from me, and we'll see you guys in the next video.